Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another video of the F1 2020 Driver Career Mode with Ferrari, episode number 69 today for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix of Season 5, round number 6. If you haven't missed any of the previous videos in this series, then I recommend you go and check them out in this series below, and subscribe if you're new to the channel to see plenty more episodes of the Driver Career Mode on F1 2020 and F1 2021. We're so close to 400 subscribers as well, so if you have not yet subscribed, then please do. It's the big red button on the video. It massively helps me out in sustaining the channel in the future. But here's where we are then. We have a 6-point advantage as our Ferrari driver ahead of Carlos Sainz, who in real life is a Ferrari driver, but in this series is a Mercedes contracted driver. But Azerbaijan we've done here well, so the aim of course will be to get victory here today. Hopefully Sainz isn't do that, and of course the added bonus is that 2 ultimate upgrades have come through on the tyre wear, which isn't really going to help us, but so I had to put it on because the 2 upgrades after that we do need, and also the engine upgrade as well, the ultimate final engine power upgrade. I think we're still waiting for some engine power upgrades from the Ferrari themselves, which I think should be coming around the British Grand Prix. One should be coming around the British Grand Prix and one around the Belgian Grand Prix, give or take a few races there. But yes, we actually top the fastest team on paper, but of course we've been the fastest team on paper before when I was at Red Bull. Obviously not Ferrari because they had their nerves, so they have been there before, but obviously the historical data doesn't show it really. But we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do with Vettel as well, whether he can get up the order after he's been mediocre not so far. I don't think he's actually got a podium in this season, so we'll see if he can improve. But into qualifying then, we've got a mobile chicane in our way. There's no point having all these upgrades and going out for qualifying when we've got an Alfa Romeo. The junior team is in the way. I mean, surely we should be on the blower to them and to get out of the way. Anyway, that actually cost, stuck behind, cost me a second, although I'm going to lose a 10th on this straight because I was stuck behind them until this straight, and I'm going to lose a 10th and a half actually from the loss in slipstream when we move up into P3, which is a P6. Verstappen and Albon have moved 3rd and 4th, I think, as we're 10th up on our final flying lap. Slightly slower than Verstappen, so I think we're only going to be on for 5th place, which, to be fair, considering the turmoil we've had in qualifying over this series, getting 5th place is actually quite a good result because we are so much faster in the race than we are in qualifying, and it's actually 5th place in the end because I don't know what Vettel was. I don't know, I think he gave up, got out of the car early, and he will start 6th now. So yes, it was Sainz and Albon, Bottas slipping to P3. Verstappen isn't doing well defending his championship, is he, in P4? Starting to lose the ground ever since that win at Australia. So we'll see what we can do. We'll have to watch the people go. We'll see what we can do from 5th place.
A warm welcome to all of you watching at home to today's Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and a race that in its short history has already proven no stranger to drama. A 4th row start is just about as likely to give you a podium as a pole position would. And remember, in 2017 and 2018, both Lance Stroll and then Sergio Perez took surprise podiums here. With 20 turns and a length of 3.7 miles, Baku City Circuit in the heart of the Azerbaijan capital is a real test of a driver's endurance, patience and precision. 90-degree corners through Sector 1 lead into a tightening uphill sprint as we start to circle around the old city. Then a 1.4-mile chase flat out through Sector 3 towards the finish line. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, and Alexander Albon lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Verstappen, a Ferrari, and Gasly, Stroll, Norris, Leclerc, and Kevin Magnussen, Joe, Giotto, Esteban Ocon, and Latifi, Kvyat, Vettel, George Russell, and Nick de Vries. Matsushita and Antonio Giovinazzi starts from the back of the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
I think we can. It's unfortunate that Sebastian is down the order, down outside the top 10, so that's a little bit frustrating that we can't really push in the Constructors' Championship between ourselves and push for Red Bull and Mercedes, especially. It's so tight up there. But we'll see what Sebastian can do. It is Baku with long straights. 5 for lights come on, and away we go. And it's a good start, better than Verstappen. He's had a terrible start, and Bottas. This is a great start. Around the outside of Albon, and we're up into P2 off the line. I mean, that's usually a good start. We're just usually making those positions from further back, to be fair. So this is Lance Stroll actually getting past. So Verstappen's gone backwards again. So he's not having it. He seems that he's having world champion syndrome, James Hunt style. Where he won the championship then wasn't great the year after, and he's actually even fallen back even further a few laps later, but he's now in an AlphaTauri sandwich, so I think he's behind Gasly in the lead AlphaTauri, as we're now being chased by the other Red Bull of Albon, and there's contact there between myself and our former teammate Albon, and Bottas is going to have a look at the inside of Albon, but Albon's going to squeeze Bottas out, but very close there. Of course, it doesn't help that the track narrows at that point, so there wasn't really much I could do there. It's not really an overtaking spot, as Albon now is coming with his DRS. We're starting to catch ever so slightly Sainz as well. I wonder if his tyres are going off or something. Something's going on there. And Albon now is starting to fight Bottas, which is good news for us because it means we can start to get away with this. We don't quite have the pace on track. We may have it on paper, but on track it's definitely a big no. You can see that Vettel hasn't been able to do like a Lewis Hamilton and make up 10 places in the spaces of 5 laps, as Bottas is having another go at Albon around the outside, and Bottas is now through, but Albon will have DRS on Bottas, and Albon pulls to the outside, Bottas to the inside, and Albon swoops around the outside at the inside for the following corner and retains P3. So we've opened a little bit of a gap there for 4 seconds. You can see we've closed the gap to Sainz to 1.5 seconds. So we're obviously not quite in DRS range, but we do lose a little bit of time in most of the batter half of sector 3, but we gain all down this straight into sector 1, where we're faster than Sainz. So we're coming into the pits there, and yeah, a little bit. I'm always a little bit sceptical about that pit lane, because obviously if they enforce track limits there, then there would be trouble. As we're coming out of the pits, we ghosted through one of the AlphaTauris and we're ahead of Sainz. Brilliant bit of work by the Ferrari pit crew to get us out. I mean, I think we should push, but in real life we probably would have both waited for Gasly maybe a little bit, but I think I would have probably come out ahead of Sainz. So we've done the job, and now we're up ahead of Sainz, but Sainz isn't done there. At the same corner that Albon tried, a few corners left, he tries to the left, he swoops to the right hand corner, but again the wall squeezes on that right hand side and we have to retain, and we're easily going past George Russell now. He's got no answer with the speed of the Ferrari engine up into the lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Albon is cleared Bottas by a couple of seconds. In actual fact, Bottas has got Verstappen now beaming down, but the Sainz is closing in once again. Well, this is a little bit different than Albon, because the Ferrari is not as fast as the Mercedes in a straight line. We've squeezed Sainz out there at turn 1 and retained the lead of the Grand Prix. As Esteban Ocon in the Renault car is out of the race with an engine failure. His car is now on bonfire, and that's going to bring out the safety car. So we've got one red car leading from another here today at Baku, which and rather annoyingly is going to close the traffic up. We've got pretty much 2 laps to the end. The good news is that DRS won't get enabled in that time for us, so we're going to back everybody up. Obviously we don't want we're going to try and catch Sainz asleep here really and leave him for dead, because obviously that Mercedes is quick. He's got the fastest lap of the Grand Flap, and his fastest lap is 0.6 faster. He's half a second faster. We've caught him napping there. You can see there's already a little bit of a gap forming. We've got gaining about 3 almost 4 tenths now coming into turn 1, but I'm sure Sainz will gain that back. And indeed he does on the last lap of the Grand Prix. He's once again coming into the end of sector 1. Can't be quite close enough, and we retain the lead of the Grand Prix. And those section of corners, these 90 rights, is where we make all up on Sainz. And coming up to the line then, can Sainz get us on the line? I don't think so. He's fallen back. We're trying to weave to break the slipstream to Sainz, and Sainz has given up, and we cross the line for victory.
Absolutely awesome, just amazing, well done.
Yes, and a 3rd victory in this series. Sebastian gets driver of the day, but it's another step in the right direction.
Well, what a drive that was to take the win for Ferrari today. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari do it again.
So top step of the podium then. And that will extend our lead over Sainz, which is good news for us if we're in our pursuit of winning the Drivers' Championship. As I said, we have won here before at Baku, but to be honest, I think we would have got Sainz even without the pits, because we were closing in on him in the final stages of that soft tyre stint. Yes, we did go a lap longer, which may not have inflicted Vettel. Obviously the gaps aren't that big because the safety car came in late, but for us that's a big achievement to get one up on Sainz, and it opens the gap to 12 points, which is more healthier. Verstappen now is some 32 points behind, so his defence, I don't think we really need to worry about his. Bottas, we don't. Bottas has been inconsistent, that's the thing, ever since he won that championship. I think it was season 1 he won his championship. Constructors is very annoying, by the way, because obviously I want to go for the Constructors Championship, but we can't really with Vettel not being able to bring the performances. We're not going back to Renault, Claire. Get your head out the sand.
You left a lot of paint on the walls today. Were you struggling for grip, or...
You know, I'm not going to answer that, Claire.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you for wasting mine with those ridiculous and useless questions. Driver acclaim is up, which is nice to see. As well, no rivalry, because I decided not to go for a new rivalry because I want to focus on getting the most out of the championship, really. We've got the Canadian Grand Prix coming next as well, which will be targeting victory again. We can't quite, though, have enough resource points to get one of them upgrades, so I'm thinking going major reduction, ultimate reduction upgrade next for myself as well. But it's a healthy lead now. Canada's next. We'll be targeting victory there as well, where we technically did win back in season 1, even though the game crashed, but we don't talk about that. And then obviously we've got Austria as well, where we'll also be targeting victory. If we can get those 2 wins, then and Sainz, if he comes second, that's a healthy lead going into my 2 bogey races then. Silverstone, where we got lucky in season 3, I think it was. I think it was our first race for Renault, and I think Ocon took out half the grid, and we managed to struggle home to P7. I have no pace at Silverstone. It's my bogey circuit on this game. Hungary, I think we managed I think somehow we managed P4 back in season 1. Since then, that track, the middle sector, I've struggled at as well. And then obviously we've got Belgium, Italy, and then Singapore, and then it's obviously 2 by 2 by 2 really there, because it's 2 bad, 2 good, and then 2 bad, 2 good, 2 bad, 2 good, really. Japan, Singapore are the bad ones, will be bad for me again. We really got lucky last season for Alpine, really. Thanks to Leclerc's when he crossed the line, should have really won. So hopefully the cars that we can do better there, even if my pace isn't that great there. Although we'll see, the Ferrari is definitely better than the Alpine. But anyway, enough about that. If you have enjoyed this video, then leave a like, subscribe to the channel for news, see plenty more episodes of the F1 2020 Driver Career with Ferrari as when they come out. The next video in this series will be coming tomorrow at Canada. But until the next video, I'll see you next time. Take care. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy your day, and goodbye.